Hey there, Rockstar. This is Ruben Whitter, expressing gratitude to Anchor.fm for distributing Rambunctious Bombastic Newscast to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, as well as an entire universe of podcast platforms. You know what? Let me tell you about Anchor.fm, just in case you haven't heard of it before. Anchor.fm is the easiest, 100% free, one-stop shop to record, edit, and sonify your podcast, all from your smartphone or computer. You, the creator, just have to provide your golden voice, an internet connection, and the user-friendly interface will help you guide yourself through all the creation tools available. Did you know that solely because of Anchor.fm, Rambunctious Bombastic Newscast became monetized with no minimum listenership? Yeah, you heard that right. And the same can happen to your podcast too. Thank you again to Anchor.fm. Download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor.fm to get started today. #Anchor. Bring. Okay. So I'm going to say exactly what you're thinking. Because what the title? Minimalism is bullshit. It is. Okay. Let me just glaze over the founding principles. As I'm mentioning this banana. I mean, this was made out of fruit. It's like, oh gosh, I'd rather just be munching something else, but I don't know. Life. Okay. So, founding principles of minimalism. I think they sort of equate happiness being an internal mechanism rather than based on external factors, which I can get behind. Yes, however, minimalists will deny themselves of things like extra furniture. Actually, let me just start by saying, I have never heard of a rich minimalist. Most people are minimalists because they want to save money and want to justify themselves by justify their non-spending by saying, well, I don't actually need it anyway, which is kind of true. I mean, even though the individual impact one has over like plastic production and animal rights and things like that based on a very, very small but growing number of people like choosing not to spend. It's like, well, I truly don't know how, like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, first of all, these things are being produced en masse. If they don't get sold this year, then they can last to be sold next year, or they can just be in the warehouse to be sold next decade if you really want to go there. Firstly, and secondly, tell me if you did not have an endless well of income that you would not be spending your money on this, that, and the third. Some people, yes, they very much want clean spaces. I mean, they want to know where everything is. They want to walk into any given room and know what they have. Maybe it's because they move around a lot. Maybe it's because they want a simple life. However, every minimalist that I have found thus far in the world, they're stingy. That's it. They just want to just save money. I say, oh, I don't need it anyway. But do you want it though? Plus, want and need are two of the same depending on the context. I mean, you might not necessarily need certain light fixtures, but you want them because you might. I mean, one light is good enough, but Actually, I'm gonna just put this light in my room because like I hate yellow ass light. A and B, this light is way too bright. Ugh. And then put on this one. Yeah. And see, like having like a little night light instead of a giant ass light. Now, if I was a minimalist, I would not have bought that night light because that one light is good enough. But the night light is like better on my eyes, so I mean, I want something that's better on my eyes, and it also, well, now I bought it, I feel like now I bought it, like I need it. I realized, oh, I do need it. You know, it's just kind of strange how people just abandon their personal wants, needs, and desires for their objectional wants, needs, and desires. Like, needs and wants can't really be quantified necessarily. I mean, if you want to go there, do you need that flour, water, and oil to bake bread, or can you just go to the store and buy it? I mean, I'm just, you don't necessarily have it wrapped in plastic either, correct? So like, what is that? Like, do you need these candles? But is it only after you bought them, you light them, and then you get the fresh fumes in the air that you realise, oh, actually, this actually makes my life better by having this? How many suitcases do you need? Can't you just have cardboard boxes instead when you're moving things from A to B? How many t-shirts do you need? How many pairs of shoes do you need? How many... and put it up to everything, like, do you need that kettle? Because you can just use a pan full of cold water, bring it to boil, and it'll be the same, right? You know? There are things that we have available to us as human beings that make our lives easier and simpler and more exciting. Goodness. I mean, there's being clean and clutter-free, yes, but then there's a point of a place being sterile. It's like, if you want sterility, then perhaps go to a hospital. Ugh. You know? Don't get me wrong, I fully understand the principles of minimalism, yet they're presented in such a way that it's almost gospel, that the human experience is one where you should actively deny yourself of all these pleasures because we're better than that. Happiness comes from within. We don't want to negatively impact the environment. Honey, the planet been dying before you existed. I'm just gonna keep on continuing to die when you leave. So, I mean, reduce, reuse, recycle, all that good stuff. But it's like, you not buying it is not going to stop it from being produced. And the same way in which you're not buying it, someone else will just walk over and buy it on your behalf. And it's to the point where minimalists won't even accept things like birthday presents or Christmas presents because, like, they don't... It's weird, I tell you. It's weird. No, it's weird. I mean, I can hear you talking in your head that saying like, oh, you shouldn't judge whatever have you. No, as a human being, I have the right to judge. Ayo, it's not even about freedom of speech; it's freedom of thought. Hell, which I don't think thus far is a constitutional right in any country. Freedom of thought. But like, yeah, the same way how people might think that having so much clutter, having this thing and that thing might be too much. The same way I think like. I mean, then again, some people are very much like in the way in their personality, but it's like, is there any flair? Any finesse? Like, would you deny yourself of buying a souvenir if you go on holiday because you don't need it? It's like, where does the rabbit hole begin and end? Like, like, honey, do you need a car? Do you need this big ass house? Do you need any house? Mm, 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 mm. Of course, this is a principle which you will live and die by. And by the way, the thing about these principles and religion and things like that, like they're cool in the moment, but it's like push comes to shove. If like on your deathbed, I'm almost certain you'll not be saying, you know what? Thank fuck I was a minimalist. You know what I mean? Like, if that's you, baby, that's you. If that's you, that's you. But oh, okay. Like me, when I have my income, I want everything. I want opulence, yes. But I don't really buy things for the sake of buying things I don't. I mean, the same way which, I mean, do I need any guitars? Hello, but the same way in which I want if I want a guitar, I may as well get the trifecta: acoustic, acoustic eclectic. I'm gonna call it acoustic electric, and electric. I also get into other instruments too. Do you know that there are like at least 4 different types of ukulele? What's it? Soprano, tenor, baritone, and concerto. No, baritone is like is a little strange just for me. So I might just have like, I mean, soprano. I got a tenor ukulele right now. I might get soprano because like I want the sound. But do I need the sound? Ugh, gosh, so strange. Let's deny yourself of all these nice things for the sake of what exactly? That's the thing. I've yet to hear a minimalist say anything on the lines of, since I don't spend time or money or resources of any kind thinking about decor or lighting or color or feng shui or presents, then I feel like I'm a better person because of it. I feel like I can spend those times, those resources being stress free or spending it on things which I feel like are more worthwhile, like X, Y, and Z. That's not what I hear. That's never been anything that I hear. If I'm wrong, then you let me know. But I mean, everything from microwavable safe dishes to extra cutlery, so you don't have to spend time on washing up. To hell, minimalists will be like, "Hey yo, if I don't need this coat when going out in the tundra, then we won't be buying this coat." It's it's. I mean, people take the bus because they feel like they don't need a car. But if you, if they won the lottery, do you not think that they would buy a car the next day? Would you not think that's the first thing that they'd think to buy? Hello, like I've yet to find someone who actually says, you know what, I don't need a car. Well, actually, hey yo, I'm the kind of person where it's like, a car, especially for me, because like that's a model, and also all these places. Also, okay, these castings tend to be like in. Well, I've only ever lived in like major cities, I guess, except for like 6 months one time. Um. So, and even like Nottingham, well, even though it's a tiny city, it's still like a city, you know. And parking here is actually quite strange, and gosh, it seems like the most easy city to get in and out of. But in rush hour, it's like you can be gridlocked for an hour. Trust. And anyone who knows anything about the UK, it's like things seem very very easy to get to and from in the moment, but the motorways are quite tiny. If there's any sort of pile up, then that's a pile up almost forever, you know. And yeah, so when I get to castings and auditions and everything, it's like, well, I take the bus, and whenever I'm in London, I take the underground, because like, well, I mean, especially central London, like, it's almost like, wow, do you need the car? Well, there's a bus there and then. That's like from here to here. And also, even if I could afford a car, I'd still be using public transport because of the places where I want to go. Like, if I lived out in the sticks, and then you'd be damn sure I would get a car. But in the major cities with like transport systems, and like, you know, I just can't ever see a place where I would actually need a car. And also, I think that the bus passes, train passes, whatever have you, would be significantly cheaper than even buying a car to begin with. And when you buy a car, it's like, it's not only the car you buy, it's the insurance, it's the MOT, it's the spare wheels, like however much you pay for a car, it'll cost at least that much to maintain it every year. So it's like, it's almost like you're, well, at least like maybe a third of that much every year to maintain it. So it's like, you may as well be buying a car every 3 years. It just doesn't, like, when it comes to things like that. But that's not minimalism. Like, if I could, hell, if I had money down and I needed to go from, I don't freaking know, Sheffield to Birmingham every day for work, then perhaps I'd be getting a car. But it's like, you know, to me that's not minimalism. That's like just like practicality. Like, you know, why would I? Oh, God, it makes no sense. But I'm sure if I had the money like just to spare, then again, even if like castings are 10 minutes away on the bus, I can't imagine myself getting a car between them, because that just like it seems like a I don't know. It's like bringing a shovel to the beach instead of just like a bucket and spade. It's like a lot, you know. Huh. But it does get to the point now where it's like, how many white t-shirts do you need, or how many black shoes do you need? But then again, what is need? Need is just subjective. It's too subjective for me to take it seriously. It is. It is. I under and trust and believe. I understand budgeting. I understand, you know, assessing what will take you for your day to day with your finances. I'm not taking that away from you, but it's just like some things just look nice, and some things are supposed to add to your life, like different types of lights for different ways of working. Like, if I need to find something, I'll put on this big ass light. But if I just want to like just sit and chill, I was like, put on this tiny light. You know, and like if you buy a TV, for example, and the speakers are not very good, then be damn sure I'm going to manifest and finesse myself a couple of Bluetooth speakers so I can get the surround sound that I deserve. And what are they called? Like, are they called acoustic panels, where you can like reverberate the sound from like one side doing to the other, so that like it's better for you? Spit on your ears. You know? Minimalism. Then again, the opposite is maximalism, when like you seem to buy things for the sake of buying things, and I'm not about that at all. The purchases that I make are very, not necessarily calculated, but they're very like, I mean, I buy them with purpose, you know, like purposeful purchases. And plus, it stresses me out too fucking much to be like, oh, but is this one, okay, this is plastic, but is it made from the sustainable kind of plastic where I can recycle it 10 years after my death? Or is it made from the plastic that will, like, be stuck in some turtle's stomach if I throw it out into the ocean? Like, no, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. And I might finish this on, like, fast fashion. Now, define fast fashion. Because, well, clothes, are designed to be worn. And unless you are, like, dealing with sewage or nuclear waste, or, like, or you're from Krypton, like these are designed to be worn and designed to go through the appropriate level of wear and tear. And the thing about fast fashion is like, ayo, people like to be on trend, and people like to find commonalities between people in terms of style, in terms of comfort. And when someone says fast fashion, I don't think they really know what they're talking about. Because apparently, I do things which are fast fashion. We get stores which have fast fashion connotations to them. But honestly, the clothes are of amazing quality to me. In my opinion. And it's like, if you can buy these expensive as bespoke pieces, which go out of fashion way faster than the fast fashion stuff, like the things I'm buying will last at least a decade in terms of style. But the bespoke pieces will last, well, they're only in season for as long as someone wants to wear them. And the more expensive clothes you buy, like the more specific they are to be worn, the more specific circumstances they are to be worn in. Gosh, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? I definitely said that in the most convoluted way possible. But things about environmental impact and everything else, like clothes. I mean, I recycle most of my clothes. If not, I put them in the landfill where like the seagulls can recycle them on my behalf. People assume it's contributing this thing and that thing, but it's like these companies do a lot more for the world than people would like to realize. And honestly, I'm getting the feeling that when people talk about the environment and things like fast fashion and plastic, most of the time they don't know what they're talking about. They go off headlines and they don't even research things properly. Like, even the environment itself, like, humans are not actually making as big as... The climate emission does not exist. Because, well, what do you want me to do about it? Because climate emergency, okay, but what? So, now what? Do you want me to... Like, I can't choose where my electricity comes from. You know? Like, if my electric company decides to use coal instead of solar power, instead of like tidal power, then that's not up to me. It's not my fault, not my problem. Like, you know. Also, these pipes. Now, I assume it's water in these pipes. I don't know if it's gas in these pipes. Doing up my central heating, but it's like, well, because living in an apartment complex, I don't have access to that. But like, you know. Like, I can't control these things. How can I control these things? Like, and even if there was a climate emergency, it would take at least my lifetime and yours watching this too, listening to this, sorry, to reverse any impact that the humans have had on the world. You know, and if you were to look at all these graphs and everything, then you would see that the planet itself is warming up on a cycle, and humans have very little to do with that. Humans are making an impact, yes, but there are so many other factors which go into it. And also all these third world countries, though I don't know how comfortable I feel with the term third world, but that is because, like, I mean, the standard of living which I live in, it may be directly different to the standard of living which they show in the media to other countries, other countries. But honey, there are pockets of poverty in every place, in every landmass you go to, you know. And who says that my standard of living is like the way that one should live? Hell, even in the Western world, people will deny themselves of comfort and this thing and that thing for the sake of minimalism. So who am I to tell anyone else that they are supposed to live the way that I live? If that's the way of life and they find comfort in that, then that's okay. You know? You can't choose things like that. And about these third world countries, like, they utilize plastic for, like, to get water. and when they're up and coming everything, they're going to be starting things off a little shaky first with, like, these carbon emissions and everything, but then after a while it balances it all out. Oh gosh, I don't have conversations with these kinds of people anymore. I mean, it's good to have a cause that you stand behind, but it's like, I don't know, the planet been dying, and it's going to continue. It's like, hello. Like, oh, okay. It's like, I don't even look at these things with, like, the side anymore. I just, like, squint. And be like, But all these poor people have nothing and they're happy, so maybe I should have nothing too, by choice. Like, oh, okay. Sure. Unless, like, that's, like, the style which you want to go to. Then that's fine, of course, but that's not what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is, like, I want to be frugal. I want to pretend like I'm making a positive impact on the environment. Meanwhile, there's all this plastic and these, like, heavy metals in your recording device. But it's like, gosh, like, you'll literally drive yourself insane trying to commit to these ideals. I didn't even get me started on veganism. Hello. Like, legit. It's like, goodness. I mean, I don't have absolutely nothing to say about veganism, but it's like, they all seem very, very angry. like, like, Jill, like, anyone who supports their cause that much is not going to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all about evangelism to, like, get the information to the people. But at the same time, if people want to, like eat dead animals based in barbecue sauce. No, I don't like barbecue sauce. You eat barbecue sauce and we'll not be friends. No, you can't make a friendship based on barbecue sauce. I go away from me, you weirdo. But but it's like, who am I to stop people from eating dead animals? I mean, I think wearing animals, like, I felt like technology would be advanced enough to where animals wouldn't need to be used in clothes and things like money and things like that. But then these things are kind of a byproduct of a living industry, so it's whatever. Like, and also for eating, not for wearing, I would think. Even though if someone got me a coat made out of chinchilla, I don't know what I'd do. Like, hey yo, what's this coat made out of? It's so soft, it's so precious. I love it. Oh, chinchilla. Oh, okay. Hmm. Can be mistaken for rabbit though. Can be mistaken for goose feathers. My God. Yeah, so instead of like being a minimalist or maximalist, just like live your life. If you feel like it's appropriate to get something, then get it. Like, you things to add to your life. I mean, you want to look to left and your right and think like just the emptiness. Then again, I'm the kind of person where like I don't like white walls because like ugh, they give me a headache. Goodness me. And and the seeing like emptiness everywhere just freaks me out. I don't like it at all. Ugh. Yeah, let's see if we can get all the way to the 30-minute mark. So I'll leave you there. Until next time. Goodbye.